YouTube, what is going on? Crowder here today, and I think today's video, if you guys are a CDL fan, you're gonna love this. So as you guys can tell already from the title above, this is going to be how to play Hardpoint, Moscow Hardpoint in general, just some basic tips and tricks for you and your team to sit down and watch this together, because I know there's a lot of aspiring amateur Call of Duty players out there in the Challengers League right now. And I know you guys have been asking me, like, you know, maybe it's pretty good content to show us how to play some of these maps and just some basic tips and tricks and all that. So here I am, Coach Crowder, head coach of Atlanta FaZe. I'm going to help you guys become better Hardpoint players in general. As a team, not really as much individually, but as a team. And on top of that, I'm going to show you some basic setups, some basic spawn points, and kind of just give you the basics of Moscow Hardpoint, and maybe this will help you out a little bit. Obviously, I don't want to go too in-depth because obviously I have my own team with like their own tips and tricks and stuff like that for us to be the best team that we can be on a daily basis. So I'm not going to go super in-depth. But for all you aspiring amateur Call of Duty players out there in the Challengers League, I figured this would help you guys out a lot. I know I got a lot of comments on basically to do something like this for you guys. So here I am going to try this out. If this video does well, maybe I can do a little bit more in depth with spawns and stuff and just help you out even more and more. And yeah, if you guys have any comments right now, throw them in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys want to see more. Do you like this kind of stuff or do you not like this? Do you want to see more about it? Or if you guys are aspiring Call of Duty players that want to be pro players but have no idea how to become one, maybe I make a very basic video on kind of the path to pro, in my opinion, of what you guys should do. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below, like this video. It's going to be a good one, I promise you, and let's get right into it. Okay, so before we get into anything really quickly, you can see this minimap. This is a CDL match minimap exactly from like when pro players are playing on this map, and I'm going to use this minimap just to reference some stuff, just like some spawn points, maybe some setups, and just like some basic knowledge, just to give you guys kind of a visual of what I'm talking about. And then also on top of that, I'm going to show you like in-game setups and stuff, like actually like from my POV. So yeah, as you guys know, right here, you have two spawn points. The one default spawn point is over here, which is the P2 side of the map, we'll call it for now. And this is, we call it back cop, but it doesn't really matter. The P2 side of this map right here. And then, of course, you have the P3 side because P3 is over here. So the P3 side start off. So this is where both teams start off. Really quick, what you want to do is, so when you're talking about breakoffs and being a team and how to play Hardpoint as a team, you want your breakoffs to be basically on the same page at all times. You want everyone on your team to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you're going to do it, like perfectly to, you know, to a T. So when you're doing a break off, it doesn't really matter what it is as much as it is being on the same page. So for example, if you guys were to all go from this P2 side, you were to all go left street over here, it probably wouldn't work in my opinion, but it would work better if all of you guys did this knowing that you're leaving the middle lane open and the right lane wide open, so off a spawn you can kind of pick it up. So personally speaking, when you're coming to breakoffs, you really want to make sure every lane is picked up. And if a lane is not picked up because you don't think it's that important, you're really going to want to make sure that you know it's open. And you know, like, if you don't see the other 4 players on the team, you kind of know what that last guy's doing. So I'm going to give you one quick example for the breakoff and the P1, and then we'll continue to move on. So back to the minimap, guys, of the CDL match right here. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about the P2 side. You can also keep note of the P3 side. One of my biggest tips, by the way, if you guys don't do this already, is watch the pro teams play and see how they're kind of playing it and analyze the gameplay. It will help you out a lot. And it'll help you get better as well, seeing what lanes they leave open, what they prioritize, etc., etc. But this is very basic, so I'm just going to show you a basic break-off between two teams right here. You're going to see right now, this team right here, they're going to set a couple people middle, and you're going to see exactly how they play it. And I'm going to show you what I mean by kind of like breaking it down. So right here, all 4 of them go middle. So they know that the right lane is wide open, which isn't the biggest priority in my opinion, because the right lane is like kind of useless for the first, like, you know, 60 seconds, like for the time being. But the left lane is open too, but look what they're going to do. They're going to push across. They're going to play it really aggressive and send more bodies to the hill to secure this P1 time instead of picking up lanes. But now they know that number 1 on the half wall is going to look over them, but also you see number 2 is staring at this left lane, so they have the left lane open. So kind of going what I was just talking about, being on the same page is really important in Hardpoint. They are all in the middle of the map, but they have everything watched but this right lane. So if they were to get into gunfights right now and not kill all 4 of the enemy team, they would know that the last guy is probably pushing through the lane that they left open. And that's why being on the same page on a breakout is really important. That's also why coming up with it together and having everyone know what they have to watch and what they have to call out is important. So all these call outs here, these guys are pressuring the hill. This guy's saying, I see nothing left. And this guy on the half wall is saying, I see nothing over the half wall. That is kind of what you want to do. And then you can react from there. Okay, so as you guys know, the breakoffs are very important, and you should really come up with all of those like on your own as a team. You should really sit into a private match and kind of find out what works best for you, what gets your easiest kills, what gets you the hill time right off the rip. With this P1 winding down, what you really want to do is make sure that your AR is really always like around this half wall. Having an AR in a power position in any kind of setup is very important. So if you're coming from the P2 side, I'm not going to break down every single side of every single hill because I could be here for 50 minutes. Maybe if you guys really like this could be part 1 of Moscow. Maybe we do it from the other side too. I'm going to kind of show you just like holds and setups, not much as breaks and other stuff. But if this content does really well and, you know, you guys share it to a friend and it gets a lot of views and a lot of love and a lot of likes, maybe I do the breaks and then maybe I do the spawns and, you know, maybe we really break down stuff for you guys to become the best COD players you can be and also the best Call of Duty team that you can be. Because remember, Call of Duty in the amateur world and Call of Duty in the pro world is a team game. And that is the most important thing that gets overlooked. A lot of people like to talk about how they drop 40 bombs, but no one ever really likes to talk about when they drop 40 bombs and they lose. They always conveniently leave out that they lost when they dropped that 40 bomb. You know what I mean? You really want to make sure that you're making the people around you the best players they can be on top of the best team that they can be, because at the end of the day, if you're on the best team, you will win. If you're dropping the most kills and you're not the best team, you probably will lose. So if that's something that some of your, you know, fellow teammates need to see, make sure they hear that. I promise you, being a team is more important than being individually skilled. At one point, in order to get noticed, you're going to have to make waves in the CDL Challengers bracket. And making waves in the CDL Challengers bracket means beating good teams. And you could not do that by yourself. So yeah, what I would say on this is that you really want to make sure you have someone on the half wall. And the half wall is a very good power position because you can look left, you can look over your team, your teammates can stay here on contest, you can do a bunch of stuff. Then on top of that, you're going to have people obviously contesting the hill, pushing through the hill, and being able to play on this hill time. Then, of course, on communication, are we going to slide actually and be aggressive on this hill time? Or are we going to back off this hill time? Etc., etc. And on top of that, if you're contesting, you can actually watch the left cross. So you can kind of hold this lane without actually being in it. But most of the time, you want someone in the hill. You want someone on that power position. You want someone either out here kind of holding like the globe. We call this globe. You want to kind of have the statue over here and just make sure you're kind of able to help your team so your guy in the hill can just focus himself. And then the last person in the setup always wants to really make sure that no one's kind of pushing through the right side of the lane, especially with 30 seconds left. If they're pushing through and they're trying to flip spawns, you want to be able to cut them down. So usually you send someone through this right side. If they're not going through that right side and you know that, they can kind of sit back and hold this. And if you're holding, as soon as someone on your team spawns, you'll kind of know where they're coming from that spawn point. So what I mean by that is you're holding here, you have one on the half wall, one in the hill, and one left side. What you're going to be able to do is as soon as one of your teammates spawn, if he spawns back there, you're good to go. That means you can give this up, you can go to the hill, and then it's kind of a rotation through. The last thing I'll explain by that is like the rotation through. So when you're holding on this P1, hypothetically speaking, I'll give you one more scenario. I know, sorry, this is a lot of talking. I really want to get into this for you guys. If you have one in the hill right here, you have one in the hill contesting, you have one person on the globe, and then you have one person like back here holding the push through. If they're not pushing through the escalators and actually getting it themselves, what you want to do is say the guy in the hill dies. So this guy makes a really dumb play. He slides out and challenges by himself and he's dead. So now in a hypothetical world, you have the half wall, you have this guy like watching globe over there, and you have this guy watching the push through or pushing through eskies. Say this guy is holding and your teammate spawns all the way out across the map, like all the way on the P3 side. That means someone is probably like, you know, pressuring your spawn point. And this means that this guy has to really play this kill and make sure you can find the guy that's blocking the spawn. But in this world where your teammate actually spawns right next to you, where he spawns back here, and he says, yo, I spawn P2, I spawn P2. This guy on the staircase now can rotate into the hill. And now the AR can hop into the hill. And he can hop in and watch his left in his hill. This guy that just picked up the half wall can pick up the half wall. And then the guy that just spawned up can pick up the right side lane, which is over here. And as you can see how quickly that rotation is, if you can do that as a swift one movement kind of thing with communication and teamwork, you're always going to be on the same page. And being on the same page is how you're really going to hold a lot of these hills. And also really how you're going to become a better team. So next hill, guys, we're going to move on how to hold the P2 hill. These are very basic setups. Again, if you are more of an advanced player, these might not help you out the most, but maybe they will. But this is very, you know, basic hardpoint. This is not like, you know, giving any Atlanta strats away or any other pro team strats away. This is just basic hardpoint on how to hold and become a better team. And that's kind of step one. And when you're trying to become the best team you can be, it starts with step one, then step two, and then you make progress until you're eventually, you know, in the pro league. So yeah, P2 right here. It's this hill. As you can see, it's about to go away, but it's this hill right here on this little courtyard area. You want one person in the hill. And this one person should be watching something, whether it's either front right here with the front office, or if he wants to watch the right side closet and the half wall push. Depending on what he's watching, really makes everybody else in the setup pretty important. So whatever works best for your team or for yourself is, what you're going to do. The next thing you want is if you have the back spawns, which is back here, you're going to want one person with an AR, preferably, to be up here watching the front, watching half wall, or watching the back left. Now, depending on what the guy in the hill is watching, really depends on what this guy is watching. So say this guy in the hill is watching his front, then this guy really wants to focus more on half wall, but also be able to help front, right? But if this guy in the hill is watching his closet and his half wall, then you, being top cop or top office up here, whatever you call it, really needs to make sure that you are holding that front, because if they push through this front door, they can shoot your guy in the hill in the back, and that's not good. So a good setup for me is I would have one person in the back cop doing what you need to do, like the top office up there. You need one person in the hill, either laying down, watching the half walls push so you can't get shot in the back, or laying down here, watching the front. Or another good spot on the hill is back here, so you can kind of watch the closet and you can kind of watch the front. So whatever works best for you, those are your first two pieces of the puzzle. The next piece of the puzzle for me, which would be the player number 3, would be someone with a submachine gun trying to get out the left street and pushing either into the room over here, which is the S&D room, or if you don't want to push into the S&D room and you want to hold this left side, you can obviously hold this left side and hold the street, but then the room is open. And then, of course, your last guy can try and get room control over here. And if you have this room locked down, you're really funneling the other team to either funnel through the middle half wall or funnel through the front. If that's one thing I can emphasize for you guys in Hardpoint and in general, and you see a lot of the best Hardpoint teams in the world do this, is pushing a team to kind of come through one direction. And what I mean by that is if you have your 2 submachine guns, it doesn't really matter what you're using, even just 2 players, really pushed out over here. You have one person pushed out here saying, I have all of it inside. You have one person pushed out here watching the left. And then this guy pushed out, right, gets all the way pushed out up here. He's eliminating the entire left side of this map. And by eliminating the entire left side of this map, now they can only be middle and right side. If you guys know how the spawns work, I'm going to bring it up for you really quick. You can funnel them middle and right side by looking at these spawns. Watch this. So really quick, looking at this mini map, look at these spawn points, and this is what I'm talking about. So you can see that number 6 over here, this player in the CDL, is kind of saying, I have all of your left side and your middle right now, so they can only come through front. Look where the yellow team spawns. They're spawning out front. And look where the white team is spawning right here. You can see now that all the white team has to do in this setup is have one guy in the hill, one guy go up top up here, and they can only come through one doorway as long as number 6 is communicating. I have everything, guys. Don't worry about it. So this is a really good play out of this team by funneling them one way. And now, of course, they lose some gunfights, but you see how easy it is just to watch this one doorway right here? Of course, it's not always going to go in your way, but if you can put yourself in these situations more and more, that's when you'll become more of a consistent team. And especially when you get the team shots and the teamwork going, that will make you guys a lot better at hardpoint and a lot better at holding hills. Okay, so now moving over to P3, you're going to see that this hill over here, which is by the fountain area, is a very easy hill in my opinion. You want one person in the hill, kind of watching his own front or laying down, kind of playing a weird angle like this, or laying down and really trusting your teammate and watching his own elbow, doing whatever you need to do. You have one person usually with an AR, kind of crouching over here, using these head glitches over here, playing these off angles, playing over this way, just anything that can really, help out the guy in the hill. Those are the 2 pieces of the puzzle to really, start this hill. The next one is what you want to do is you really want to have someone like we call this elbow, kind of playing elbow and information. You see a lot of pro players do this all the time, where you're playing elbow and you can kind of get that information where if they do cross to the back, you'll see them. And if there's pushing you, you can kind of back up. And as soon as this guy backs up, the guy up here that was helping his team in the front, which is right here, can also help you out right there, right? So there's a lot of teamwork in this setup. It's a pretty simple one. And then, of course, your last guy, what you really want to do is people call him the anchor, but what you want to do is just kind of have him watch the back right. If he can get pushed out on the right side and once again, funnel them one way, that's when you become the best team you can be. So if this guy was all the way pushed up like this, by this bus area, and you see really good pro teams do this all the time, you know that they have to come through one way, which is the front or the middle. And this middle, he can help out the middle. He's watching the right. And now you're not playing that much of a guessing game. And I'm sure a lot of you amateur Call of Duty players out there play a lot of guessing games in Hardpoint. That's kind of what you want to avoid. So you want to play the guessing game maybe to start, but after you can really push out and hold those setups, kind of funneling them one way is where you want to be. But yeah, right here is a pretty good setup where you're watching the back right. You can go all the way back here on the staircase. This is probably a better spot. Where you kind of have a head glitch on the back right here. You can kind of help out here. You can call for help and be able to get your teammates teamwork going right away, kind of stall your life, make sure you're playing your life. and that will help you out a lot. And then, of course, after that, you want to try and push out and hold and funnel them one way. But yeah, that's kind of a basic setup for this P3. It's nothing, you know, too crazy, but hopefully it helps you guys out a little bit on Moscow Hardpoint. Okay, moving forward to the next hill, which will be P4, which is the one in the street right here. This is pretty simple stuff. We're going to talk about coming from the bank side. We call this bank over here, or like the bus side, orange bus. If you have the orange bus, you want an AR in the orange bus, really looking over, either playing this spot. You can kind of go back here and like, you know, jump over here, play like weird spots over here. Just anything that's like really looking over the street. I like the bus. Some of the best players in the world play the bus. Pretty simple stuff. I've seen some people play on top of the bus, but I don't know. This is kind of weird, but you might catch someone off guard. Regardless, you have one person in the hill really staying down either here, like this, like just staying down like that, or sliding to this car, staying down on this car like that if they can. You have one person looking them over on the bus. Then you have one person constantly, like your sub player or your cracked player that people like to say on the CDL, really pushing out the middle of the map as much as they can, trying to lock down the middle of the map. So if he can lock down this, you really want to lock down this gold window, get in here, and just like play this cross. If you lay down right here, you can actually see the cross to the middle, so you can call out people pinching you, as well as hold your own doorway. You get a lot of information, and then after you get the kill, you can kind of make a play. That's 3 people out of the 4, and then your 4th person should either be like, depending on what needs more help, filling it in. If we have middle all the way pushed out, he doesn't have to go middle, he can help the hill. If we have hill all the way pushed out and we have no middle presence, or the middle guy needs a lot of help, the 4th guy off spawn can really, you know, help out middle. So this one, just depending on what the information you're getting, is really important. And now I'm going to show you some spawns on this, on why this far left lane is not the most important lane. Sometimes people do, even in the pro world, do make that really long pinch, but that long pinch is probably not the best, and I'm going to explain why. So you can see the spawn points here, how the white team is spawning on this side of the map and the yellow team is spawning on this side of the map. Now, you can see that they're trying to, you know, play a lot of people through gold and also look over the people. Number 8 is looking over the people in the hill, and they're pinching through the middle. You're not going to see a lot of people use this lane of the map, because if you back it up, look where the yellow team is spawning. They're spawning over here. Maybe you have a few people that spawn right here, which is in the P2 area of the hill. But if they were to pinch all the way around, by the time that pinch is even complete, there's going to be 30 seconds left on the hill. And then on top of that, where the yellow team is spawning is where they actually want to be for the new hill coming up, which is the P1. It rotates, obviously. It goes from P4, which is over here, back to P1, which is hill number 1. And then, you know, you kind of reset the rotation and you play it again. So that pinch isn't not really like that necessary. Maybe off the beginning of the hill, but after that, you don't have to worry about it that much. So the white team really just wants to kind of play through the middle, play through gold, and really make sure that people aren't pinching them through gold while they have hill control. Unfortunately for the white team, number 3 looks like he's about to sneak through. He sneaks through, and now he has that pinch to go, and that's kind of where it gets dicey. So that's why that one spot I was telling you about, that laydown spot, you can get a lot of information, because if you do that laydown spot, which again looks like this, if you see someone actually pinching you, you can call it out to the person on the bus, or you can call it out to the person that's coming off a spawn, saying, yo, I see one pinching us. The guy off a spawn can go like this and pick up the pinch. And then, you know, you kind of have that teamwork again. So, yeah, I don't want to keep you guys here for, you know, 50 minutes and, you know, talk about every single thing. Remember, like, I also have to keep this very simple, because I don't want to, you know, give up too many pro strategies or too many of my own team strategies, because, of course, at the end of the day, my number 1 priority is making sure that me and my team are on the same page privately, because, of course, we play against the best players in the world. And there's 12 amazing CDL teams in the league that are, of course, always trying to beat you. So that is the basic setups and the basic holds for amateur players that are really, really beginner level players. If you want the basics of Moscow Hardpoint and just kind of the basics in Hardpoint in general, you can apply that to a lot of different maps. But I promise you guys, if this series does well, I can do a very basic breaking video on how to break on Moscow Hardpoint and Hardpoint in general. I can do a very basic rotation video on how to rotate properly. I can do a lot of basic coaching videos that will help the beginner amateur player, or just amateur players in general, become better. And if that's what you guys like this video right now, comment below, engage with the video, and please let me know what you guys think. I'm always going to try and help you guys out in the CDL world as much as I can and keep it as simple as I can, because, of course, obviously my job is the head coach. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe. I would be here for 3 hours if, you know, I was free to talk about everything in Hardpoint. I love Call of Duty, man, so much. I love talking about it. I love teaching it. I love coaching it. And I love helping you guys out as much as I can. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, guys, it's been your boy Crowder, and I'll see you guys next video.